Oh boy, had to type my notes up. Okay, so in all truth, I did spend 6 years taking music courses, choir, band, jazz ensemble, uh, and that was just like junior high and high school. And I played for about 4 years before that, and I played a little bit into my thing. So the terrible, terrible off-key singing is very sarcastic singing, and I do it on purpose. I'm not just retarded and can't sing. All right, so I promised everybody that when I came back from Red Bull Battlegrounds, um, I would talk about my experience there and meeting Day Nine and getting him to sign stuff and just having conversations with him. I know that there's a lot of people out there that have met Day Nine at events, a lot of people that live in Southern California, but nobody ever seems to talk about it. They type up forum posts sometimes that I found. There's the Day Nine Reddit. There's lots of instances where people meet him, but it's really hard to articulate emotion through text. I mean, Sean talks about it all the time. He says, it's really hard to be sarcastic in text without coming off like sounding like you're an asshole. I don't want to sound like I'm an asshole, so I tend to stay away from sarcasm. So there's a couple of really funny stories that go on with this, that involve like the trip down, some of the issues that I ran into, some of the people that I met. And if you guys are watching this on YouTube and I met you at Red Bull Battlegrounds Atlanta and I don't remember your name, please don't be offended. It takes me weeks of working with somebody day in and day out, or seeing them day after day after day after day before I remember their name. Day 9 was Day 9 for about 2 months. And that's because that's the search term that I had to use in order to find his videos on YouTube. He was not Sean Plott until almost 2 months of me watching his content. So if I can't remember Sean Plott as Day9.tv or as Day 9, then if I forget your name because we only met for like an hour, it's not because I don't remember you. I remember faces very well. I will see a face that I haven't seen in like 9 years and go, hey, I recognize you. I saw you like 9 years ago, but I can't remember your name at all. I don't know why. That's just kind of how it is. So without further ado, my trip to Red Bull Battlegrounds Atlanta. So I found out about Red Bull about 3 weeks before it went to Atlanta. I look at my wife and I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to take some time off of work. Things are really, really busy, but they're starting to spin down a little bit. I'm going to take some time off of work, and I want to go see Red Bull Battlegrounds Atlanta. The tickets are it's $35 per person for all 3 days at the Center Stage Theater in downtown Atlanta. Can I plug it anymore? Anyways, $35. You go, you see some awesome StarCraft, you get to meet some awesome people, you get to make new friends, you get to meet Rotterdam, you get to meet Day 9, you get to meet all these wonderful people. Polta was there. I honestly could not work up the balls to go say hi to him. I don't know why. I fangirled out when I was there. So I go to book the hotel, and I'm like, I don't want to drive around in the middle of downtown Atlanta. That's just dumb. Why would I want to do that? So I find a hotel that I happen to be a rewards member with. I do a lot of business trips. I spend a lot of money on hotels. I have lots of free stuff, right? So I go to book the room, and I was originally going to drive down Thursday night. It's about a 2-hour drive from where I live. I was going to drive down Thursday night, have the night to kind of veg, rest, relax, get everything kind of packed and squared away so that when I went the following day, I would be well rested, I'd be ready to go. We'd already have the hotel room checked out, the puppies would be kind of, bedded down. We take our dogs with us pretty much wherever we go. If both me and my wife are leaving the house, the dogs are with us. Or we take them up to North Dakota to her parents' house. So I go to book the hotel, and I'm like, hey, I want to use my points. I want to get free stuff, right? And I go and I'm like, Thursday through Monday. Thursday night all the way to Sunday night or Monday morning, right? And they go, yeah, you can't use your points with that. I have like 110,000 of them. Why can't I use my points with that? And then I find out there's this one little tiny thing. So imagine that the pamphlet is like, so this is my office key, right? Imagine that the pamphlet is like this size, right? So if we open it up, do you see this text like down here at the bottom? The pamphlet is the size of this, and all of the text is this big. All of the text in it is that big. The only thing that doesn't have text that small on it is the front cover, and it just says, you know, Marriott Rewards. One line in the small print says, certain hotels can apply certain exclusions to it. So I call up the hotel. I'm like, hey, what's up with this? And they're like, oh, we don't allow you to use your points in the middle of the week. But if you guys, okay, whatever, fine. So, do I have to book it Friday through Saturday? Or Friday through Sunday? Yes. Okay, fine. It'll be free, right? Well, yeah, you have to pay the extra fee. Yeah, whatever, okay. So, I'm like, okay, so instead of going down Thursday night and having the hotel room all straightened around and being able to just go to the event Friday morning, we now have to drive down Friday morning. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all, right? So, the weekend comes around. Friday morning rolls around. I wake up, I'm stoked. I'm like, we're going to go to Redbull BattleGrounds. I'm going to see StarCraft live and in person. Yes! I get a t-shirt, you know, all this fun stuff's going to happen. We make the drive down. We leave at about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. We get down there. I had already called the hotel and said, hey, I'm going to be checking in early. Could you please make sure that there's a room available for me? Because I am a Platinum Elite member. I don't have to pay the fee for early check-in. So, they're like, yeah, no, it should be fine. I mean, we're booked up all the way the night prior, completely booked the night prior, but there should be no reason why we can't get one room ready for you. Okay, cool. So, we go there, we show up, valet parking. Okay, there's a parking garage. They don't let people park in the parking garage. Makes sense. Liability, insurance, it's expensive. So, we get there, we go to check in. Oh, we're sorry. We don't have a room ready for you. Okay, so when's checkout time? When do people start getting kicked out of the hotel room? That would be noon. It's 10 o'clock. 2 hours before they can start kicking people out of the hotel. And then another, like, they're expecting another hour and a half after that. So I'm expecting 1:30. So me and my wife say, okay, we're just going to sit here. I mean, we really can't take the dogs anywhere. It's 90 effing degrees outside, and it's only 10 o'clock in the morning. They will die. So we're just going to sit in the lobby. So we're sitting in the lobby, and I'm kind of like, I'm playing on my phone. You know, I'm playing threes, because that's all I had at the time. Normally I play like Minion Rush, but I had just uninstalled that because it ate up all of my bandwidth. And my wife looks at me and she does the best thing that a wife could ever do for you. She goes, hey, I'll take care of the hotel. It's in your name, but if they give me crap, I'm just going to start yelling. I'm like, okay. She's like, I'll take care of the dogs. Go to the event. So it's like 11:15, and I'm sitting there and I'm kind of on edge because I've already missed the opening, and I really don't want to miss any of the games for Redbull BattleGrounds Atlanta just because it's the experience. And she goes, no, I'll take care of the dogs. You go, have fun, play. So I go. My timing could not have been more impeccable. I had missed the opening like ceremony, the little speech that Day 9 did at the beginning, but I showed up sat down and kind of got settled into my seat and met the person that was sitting next to me that I can't remember his name for the life of me, but was a very intelligent and kind and just smart individual, like very well-spoken individual, and we had a blast sitting there next to each other. And the very first match of the day started, and it was Rotterdam and Nathanius casting. I'm like, yes, this is where it goes. So, the venue, right? The venue was significantly smaller than it looked like online, because I went back and I watched the VOD for it on the Redbull site, and they make it look huge. Like, they make it look pretty big, but it wasn't. So there was about 8 rows of seating around the thing. The caster desk was in the middle of the area, and then right behind the caster desk was the platform where the 2 players were sitting. So you'd have, red and blue on either side, and it was just very intimate. Intimate. It was a very intimate environment. You have to get up and use the bathroom, and you then are faced with that sudden choice: do I put my crotch in their face, or do I stick my ass in their face and hope and pray I don't accidentally, let a little gas out on the way through? So it was just kind of really close and just kind of awkward and uncomfortable, and the air conditioning was working okay. It was really, really cold in one seat, but you go one seat over and there's no AC at all. So it was kind of a small venue, and it was intimate, small, but the crowd was relatively small as well. And for me, I have small bits of social anxiety in large groups of people. You stick me in a room with 5 people, I'm good. You stick me in a room with 10 people, I start getting really uncomfortable really fast. And the more you increase that number after about 10 people, the more introverted I become. So the first day goes through, and my wife sends me a text, and she's like, hey, I'm settled into the hotel, we got everything sorted out, we're all good, I'm going to get the dogs ready so they can sit here by themselves, and I'm going to come and watch with you. And I'm like, okay. Then she shows up about 15 minutes later. We're within walking distance. We are no more than 1 block away from the venue. Our hotel is 1 block away from the venue. Brilliant. She gets there completely exacerbated, happy that I'm happy, but you could tell she was just kind of beat up. And I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, the dogs won't stop whining, and I don't know what to do about it. She doesn't want to. She's like, I don't want to get in trouble with the hotel. I don't want them to kick us out. I'm like, okay. So we leave the venue and we go back. My dog, the big Labrador that I'm sure many of you have already seen at least once, is just whining her face off. Normally, she's the quiet one. She's the one that just kind of goes off in a corner and sleeps, and then when you come home, she decides that all of a sudden she needs to meld with you. She's that kind of a dog. She is laying next to the door. Like, if there was a fire in the hotel, that dog would have prevented smoke from rolling under the door. That's how she was laying in front of the door. And she's just whining and whining and whining, and we come in and she's whining and kind of growling at us, and I'm like, what is your problem, dog? And then I realized, oh, I know it is. The door keeps shaking when it's closed, and there's no noise to cover it up for her to get to sleep. So we turn on, so we're in this like studio apartment hotel room, we turn on the dishwasher, right? I'm like, fuck it. It's their water bill, I don't care. We turn on the dishwasher and leave. No whining. She was perfectly fine. We go back to the venue. The rest of the day goes off without a hitch. Smooth day, everything's going good. Then, the day goes to end. So, Sean had been kind of poking his way in and out of around the venue for a while. I should probably change this to not playing anything, because I'm not playing any games anymore. So Sean had been poking around the venue. He normally would sit on the front row somewhere, like right there on the floor, so if he needed to get up and go, he could and wouldn't get in anybody's way. And, I was sitting back a little bit further, and I was just enjoying the venue more than anything, right? Wearing my Day Nights t-shirt and wearing my StarCraft 2 jacket, my Terran jacket that I'm sure some of you guys have seen before. And the end of the day rolls around, and there's a line that starts to form to talk to Sean. my wife and I, we go down on the floor and we're just standing there. And then the security guys like, everybody needs to clear out of the room. Everybody, you can wait outside. And I'm like, okay, well, shit. I guess I don't get to meet Sean today. So I walk out. My wife's just like, no, I'm going to stay here. My wife, when she's doing something for somebody else, is just balls to the wall, does not care what anybody thinks of her. She does what she feels she needs to and has zero shame. Have I mentioned I love my wife because of things like that? So she's standing down there, and then Sean says something very awesome. He goes, hey, wait right here. I'm going to go change, and I'll be back. So we're all still standing there. Security guard's yelling at us now. I'm like, all right, fine. You know what? I cannot get I can't get like arrested. I can't get the cops called on me. For my job, that's bad. I can't do that. So I walk out. My wife follows me out. The rest of the group kind of follows all of us out. There was a couple of the players that had shown up there. Dirty GG was one of them that we were just kind of standing there talking to him. The denim jacket and the bandana. I'm pretty sure it's Dirty GG. Omega, correct me if I'm wrong on that. I know you watched it. I know you had to have watched Redbull BattleGrounds Atlanta. If you didn't, oh well. But I'm pretty sure it was Dirty GG. And we were just kind of chit-chatting with him, and I'm assuming his significant other was some female that I had not seen play, so I'm just assuming here. So we all kind of get shooed out, but they don't kick us out of the establishment. They just kicked us out of the theater. So we're standing in like the bar area now, and there's another dude that was working for Smite Gaming, or the guys that made Smite, I should say, and he's like, I'm just gonna wait here, and the security guard came over. He's like, what are you guys waiting for? And he's like, well, one of the casters, Sean Plott, Day 9, he said that he would come back and talk with us for a little bit before you shoot us out. Could you go in there and please tell him that we're out here? Okay. So he disappears. Time is now moving slower than anything I can imagine. And I'm just looking at my wife. And she's like, don't worry. It'll be fine. Don't worry. He won't let us down. Don't worry, you've heard the stories. Sean always says that he sticks around if he can. If he doesn't have anything that's super pertinent for him to do, he sticks around and he waits. And I was like, okay. So I waited, and we waited, and sure shit, fucking like, it had to have only been 10 minutes, but it felt like an hour later, Sean comes out. Like, you know, he had dressed down, he was wearing something more comfortable. He comes out and he starts talking to us. And we all, like, everybody's like, yeah! We're all, like, super happy, and we're all very politely waiting our turn, and just kind of, like, everybody's kind of getting involved in these conversations. It's like this big group just kind of got together all of a sudden, but we're just kind of waiting. So it's like one person's having a conversation with Sean. The rest of us are waiting, but we're all kind of laughing together at all the jokes that are going back and forth between them. And then Danielle and I were like the next people in line. So he talks to this one dude that is helping build Smite, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing tonight? You want to come out and party?" And Sean's like, "No, I'm gonna go eat pizza and pass out." So Danielle and I go up and we go to talk to him, and I pride myself. My job for day nights assemble. Yes, thank you, Dial. My job requires me to be extremely well composed under extreme pressure. I have to be able to always do the right thing and say the right thing at the right time, no matter who's in the room. I talk to people that make phenomenally more money than I do. People that can literally look at me and be like, you know what, you don't work here anymore. Leave now. And I'm perfectly comfortable talking to them. When I talk to people, when I have conversations, this is kind of the persona that they get. What you guys see is me. I'm very confident. I'm very forward. I'm very honest and truthful about what I say. I met Sean, and I was standing there waiting for him. I looked at Danielle. I'm like, this is going to be awesome. I can't believe that I get to meet Sean after like 2.5 years of watching his show. Like, him getting me through some of my rough times when I was completely alone, away from my family. like my wife and my dogs being my family because of work. You know, that's when I found day 9. Day 9's just energy kind of got me through that. I'm like, I get to meet day 9. This is going to be so cool. It's going to be so awesome, relaxing. He's a real person. He's going to talk to me. I step up to talk to him. He sticks out his hand. He goes, "Hi, I'm Sean." My knees start shaking immediately. And I'm like, what the fuck? I have never done this before. In the back of my mind just starts racing. My knees are shaking. My upper body is completely still because my legs are just shaking like crazy. I'm like, "Hi, I'm Justin. I'm Threxor on chat." And he's like, "Wait, whoa, what? What'd you say your name was in chat?" I'm like, I'm Threxor. And he's like, "Threxor, give me a hug." He had apparently found out that I was hosting the Team Fortress 2 server. I hadn't been advertising it at all. He found out that I was hosting the Team Fortress 2 server and thanked me for it. He knew who I was. It was such an amazing experience. And then I was talking about some of the other day nights that were in chat. I was talking about Omega, I was talking about Cerebral, a couple other people. And he's like, "Yeah, no, I totally know." He was remembering jokes that everybody was doing. It was such an amazing experience. There were so many things that I had planned out in my head. The whole week prior, I'm like, I'm going to meet day 9, and this is how I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to be so badass, he'll never forget me. The problem is, I get there, he had already not forgotten me. He had already remembered me. It blew my mind, and I was just like, Vector, fan, and I just lost it. I couldn't stop smiling for the rest of the day. We took a picture together. I'm sure if a lot of you are following me on Twitter that you saw that. I'm probably one of the few people that he actually has to, when he wraps his arm around them, he actually, instead of can just wrap his arm around them, he has to actually, you know, lean it up a little bit to do it. And, you know, there was a line behind us, so I kept the conversation real short. He looked more than willing to talk longer, but at that point I wanted to be polite and move it on to other people. So I go home. On the walk back, my wife goes, "Hey, you got to meet day 9. I'm like, yes, I did. I got to meet day 9, and it was awesome. My legs are still shaking. This is like 10 minutes after I'm done talking to him. My legs are still shaking. I'm still happy as can be. I go to bed that night. I slept harder and better than I had for like a month and a half. So that was just the first day. I'm running really quick on time, so I'm just going to go through the second day. Met more awesome people, of course, through Redbull BattleGrounds. Actually drank my first legitimate Red Bull the second day. Holy shit. Red Bulls don't give you wings, they will give you heart attacks. Apparently, though I drink the equivalent of a full pot of coffee a day by myself most days, Red Bull just messes me up horribly. So I'm still kind of recovering from the Red Bull jitters, and there's a lot of crap that I'm pushing out of my system, which is why I went for a nice 2-mile run today and help flush that all out. So the second day goes through, and everything goes on. We go and we all walk outside. Like Sean was the last one that casted that day, and we're like, "Sean, are you gonna meet us out here again?" And he's like, yeah, just wait out there and I'll come out and sign something. We're like, "Okay, cool." So we wait in the same area that we were before. The event security had let us stay the previous day. 10 minutes goes by, and they go, "Okay, everybody needs to vacate the grounds. Everybody needs to leave the event." And we're like, what? Can somebody tell Sean that we're going to be outside? Because we're going to freaking wait for him. So I had taken hold on. I have to run and get this. Okay, I got this. Okay. So I had taken my Heart of the Swarm Collector's Edition box. I had emptied it out, and I had taken it. Hello, Nikki. You cannot visit. My dog just decided to open the door and try and talk to me. So, I had taken my collector's edition Heart of the Swarm box. I'm looking at the screen again instead of looking at the camera to talk to everybody. I'd emptied it out and I brought it with me. And I said, first day I'm just going to meet Sean. I've got something else that I need to get signed for somebody else for shenanigans, right? The second day I said, okay, this is the day. I have to meet Day 9 today. I have to get him to sign my Heart of the Swarm Collector's Edition. Because I found Sean at the same time I found Heart of the Swarm. So I played Wings of Liberty, I only played the campaign. Got Heart of the Swarm, met Sean, immediately jumped into multiplayer, got bronze on ladder, and went from the bottom rungs up to like 17th in bronze. All within like 2 months. Just all this revolves around Day 9. So I'm like, he's got to sign it. While we were inside, I forgot to mention this, while we were inside, people were still transiting in and out, and my wife goes, hey, isn't that Rotterdam? I'm like, yeah, it's Rotterdam. She's like, isn't he one of the casters that you really like too? I was like, yeah, I really like Rotterdam. I saw him on WCS EU, and I just kind of fell in love with him. He's an awesome person. And she just like follows him. She's like, I could be a stalker because I'm a chick. It's okay. And she just follows him. She's like, I'm going to go get him. Walks like 3 or 4 feet away from me and goes, hey, Rotterdam. And he turns around, yeah. And she's like, can you sign my husband's collector's edition? And he's like, yeah, no problem. And he was there with somebody else as well. And my wife started talking to this other lady. I don't know their relationship, but he was holding her. Girlfriend. Okay, my wife just screamed girlfriend. Apparently it was his girlfriend. So those two start talking, and Danielle goes, I'm so sorry, you guys must get this all the time. And she's like, no, it's fun, we like it. It's fun, I enjoy seeing this kind of stuff. It's kind of cool, it's like star power. And I'm talking to Rotterdam, I'm like, dude, I have been a big fan of yours ever since I saw that first season of WCS EE that you did. He's like, oh yeah, cool. I'm like, look, you have a really thick accent, and it's really hard for me to understand people with very thick accents, but I don't know what it is. I understand exactly what you're saying the first time you say it, and I mad respect. Your mastery of the English language is by and far amazing, and I fucking love it. So he signed my box. So there's a signature from Roddy right there on this side here. There's a signature from Roddy, and that was the first one. He was the first one to deface my box because of convenience. I mean, I ran into him before Day 9. So we all get shooed out of the venue. Venue, that was the word I was looking for. Venue. I read it like 4 times today. We all get shooed out of the venue, and we're all standing there. And I've got my box, and it's hot. It's Atlanta. It had kind of wanted to storm earlier that day, but actually didn't. So the humidity was at 98% and just unrelenting. And we're standing out there. And there was about 11 of us that were all standing outside the venue. And I'm so sorry, Omega, I'm going to cut into your time a little tiny bit here. There was about 11 of us standing outside the venue, waiting. There was Dirty GG was there. He had his keyboard that he wanted signed. There was a couple other people that were there. There was myself and Threx Waifu that were all standing there waiting. And then there was these younger individuals. You could tell they were either in high school or college that were sitting on the steps of the building waiting. And they were your typical like nerds. Like super nerds, right? And Danielle is just looking at me, and I'm like, man, I will wait here. If you want to go back and settle in with the dogs, that's fine. Take care of them. I'll wait here. She goes, no. You see Nerd Boy over there? And I kind of look behind me. She's like, he's going to wait. He's going to wait till the sun goes down if he has to. We're going to wait longer if we have to. I'm like, okay. So several minutes have gone by. It's been at least 20. I know for a fact. Gaming youths, yes. It has been at least 20 minutes. I know this for a fact. I kept looking at my watch and time is just ticking by. A half hour shows up. Still no Day 9. we were worried that nobody had told him that we had been moved outside and that we were going to be forgotten. A couple people kind of started to drift. This poor kid, not the one that was waiting on the stairs, but this other poor kid in the crowd. His mother came and picked him up and was very, very angry when he didn't immediately get into the van. He's like, "But Day 9's not gonna bend it. Day 9's coming. Just pull around. Just pull around." She was so pissed and just like pulled off, and he stayed there. And we were just kind of chuckling. And I was clasping onto my box, very, very close to me. And a half hour goes by, 35 minutes. It's almost about to be 40 minutes that we've been waiting out here. And then we hear the door open, and fucking Sean walks out. He's wearing a Day 9 TV t-shirt. He walks out. We're like, what the fuck? And I'm like, mind blown, good sir. Once again, he's followed through on the fact that he does not leave the community hanging. He kind of figured we were out there and came out to see us. And I'm just like, that's super special. And that tugged at my heartstrings. It was special. So he's talking with a bunch of people that didn't get the chance to meet him the day before. My wife and I are kind of standing off to the side, just watching, smiling. We're kind of people watchers, and we enjoy seeing other people's joy when that joy doesn't involve stupidity. If it's a bunch of college kids like hitting mailboxes with bats, then we want to shoot them. But if it's a bunch of people all getting to meet Day 9 for like the first time or the first time that weekend, we enjoy standing back and watching their joy. Like, we live vicariously through them for that moment. Then, as things kind of go down, the crowd people get stuff signed, and then they kind of say their parting words, and they start to kind of go off on their own directions. And the group gets down to about 5 people. It's Dirty Gigi, it's me, it's my wife, it's a couple other people, and I sit down because my legs hurt. I'm tired, I'm weak, I sit down all the time. So I sit my ass down. And Sean, because I had told Sean the day before, I was like, I want you to sign my StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm Collector's Edition box. And he's like, I would love to mar it, deface the hell out of it. So I sit down, I've got my box, and he looks over. He's like, Drex? I'm like, Sean? I believe you have a box for me to deface. Why, yes, Sean. As a matter of fact, I do. And I hand him my box, and I apologize because I wanted you to be the first one to really deface it, but I had to get Rotterdam to sign it because I really wanted him to sign it as well, and I didn't want to miss the opportunity. He was there. He's like, no, it's fine. And then Sean scrawls his wonderful calligraphied signature all over my box. So I now have my StarCraft 2 Collector's Edition Heart of the Swarm, not just some random one that I bought and took with me, but mine, this copy, the one that I bought. This is the one that I play on. This is my account. It has now been signed by Rotterdam and Day 9. But the best part of this story is the rest of the community as well. So I'm excited. He signs it. I set it off to the side, and we continue talking. And then finally he's like, okay, well, I've got to go. I need to go wrap up a few things in the back so that I can then eat and sleep. And we're like, okay, yeah, you have a wonderful evening. I get up and walk away. My wife gets up and walks away. The box did not come with us. Did not come with us. We walked the entire block back to the sidewalk before the hotel, and I'm standing there and I'm like, something doesn't feel right. I feel like I'm missing something. And I look around and my wife goes, where's your box? Fuck! I immediately just throw my bag off at her, turn around and start running back. I'm like, no! I go running back. I'm hauling ass. So I don't like running. I am now sprinting. A 6'5" person is sprinting full speed, and I'm outpacing the cars next to me. Downhill. I get down to the thing. Everybody's standing around my box. And then they start looking around, and I'm waving my arms like an idiot because it's across a busy street. I'm waving my arms like an idiot, smashing the shit out of the button to let the crosswalk let me go across so I didn't get run over and killed by some stupid Atlanta driver. Which, if you live in Georgia and you're in Atlanta and you like Atlanta, I'm really sorry, but the drivers in your city suck. Like, I thought Detroit was bad. I grew up near Detroit, and I used to drive in Detroit often during rush hour. I thought Detroit was bad. Atlanta drivers suck. Tangent over. Back to the story. So I go back. They're all standing there staring at my box. I'm like, I came back. I remembered it. Oh my God. And as I'm running across the street to get to my box, I hear Sean very faintly yell, "It's okay. We didn't know what to do." Like, there were lots of people talking to me. One of them said we didn't know what to do with it. We didn't know where he had gone. Sean had said that he was going to take it in, put it with his stuff, and find me the next day and give it to me. At least that's what I heard. That's what I think that's what I think I read off of his lips when I was trying to run across the street with horns going and people yelling at me and all this other shit. I would like to think that that's something that Sean would do naturally, just based off of the interactions that I've had with him and the way I've seen him in the chat and the way he interacts with people and just kind of the decisions he makes. I cannot believe I left my fucking collector's edition box there, but I would have been brought to straight up tears if I had left it there and Sean had saved it. So that was the second day. It's been an eventful weekend. Finals day comes around, good shit happens. Finals is amazing. I could still never work up the balls to go talk to Polt. I'm going to fix that if I go to DC and he makes it there. Come on, Polt. Fucking make it to DC. If he makes it to DC, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be like, sign my shit because you're awesome and you're kawaii and it's just fantastic. And so the finals go, and then they're gonna do this after party. I'm like, really, really cool, and you know, I kind of said hi to Todd, but Todd has a personality that I personally don't know how to interact with it, so I didn't really know how to kick off a conversation. I should have just been like, hey, what's up, Todd? I really like the way you cast. It's so cool to hear another European personality coming to the States to cast with us, and I think it's super awesome that you still compete try and compete in the WCS circuit in Europe. Could I have thought of that in the moment? Hell no. You think you've got all this shit figured out, and then you get there and you're like, nope, I don't know what I'm doing. It's Todd. It's Todd. Oh my God. That's what ends up happening to you when you get there. So we're at this after party. The music's entirely too loud. My wife and I are kind of miserable, and I'm like, I'm literally just waiting for Sean because I want to buy that man a motherfucking drink. That's all I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for Sean to show up so that I can buy that man a drink. That's what I'm waiting for. And finally, like, I'm checking my phone. I'm making sure work hasn't called me. And I pull up Twitter, and he's like, hey, guys, I had to run. I had to get in a taxi. And I was looking at my wife. I showed her the tweet. She's like, fuck it, let's go. So we just get up and walk out. So, awesome day one. Even more epic day two. Kind of fizzled out on day three for me, but that's just how stuff like that goes. Following day, we get to go up and leave. We come home, and I was completely awake and smiling the entire day, and I've been super happy but super tired ever since. And I will definitely say, if you play StarCraft, let me reserve that thought for the very last thing I say. It was one of those adventures that, though it was very difficult for me to get the time off, and it was very difficult for me to work up the courage and basically the money to go there, it was worth every penny. Absolutely every penny. And I'm working my ass off trying to get all of my ducks in a row so I can go up to DC. I've been to DC before. I'm more comfortable in that city than I am in Atlanta. This is my first time in Atlanta. Oh, yeah. So, Friday, I didn't even know that they were doing something at Battle and Brew. Thursday night, So I show up Friday morning and I check Twitter, and Rotterdam's like, hey, it was awesome meeting everybody at the meet and greet at Battle and Brew. Fuck! So, but other than that, this time I'm not going to make the mistake the second time. So, words of advice. Go to an event. If there's one even near you, go to it if you can. Like, don't make excuses. Fucking go to it. Second, get there a day effing early. Why? So that you don't miss anything. And then third, if you've been playing StarCraft, or you've been commentating, or you've been trying, if you're in a position like me where you're trying to like put your name out there and you're trying to produce good quality content for people and become a caster and trying to get into that circle, but you know, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, and you've kind of lost your passion for it, then go to an event. If you can, just go to an event. Or talk to people that have been to an event. Talk to people that are going to events. Be like, hey, if I give you money, can I get you to get this signed for me? That's what happened to me. Somebody was like, hey, I'd really like if I could get this particular item signed for me. If I get it to you, or if I can get you a way so you can get one, can you get it signed for me? I was more than willing to do that. Easily. It's one of those things. If it doesn't put any additional financial burden on me, and all I have to do is like give it to Sean and be like, here, this is for so and so, I'll hand it over. I'll be like, here you go. But go to an event, because it will reinvigorate you. It will spark the interest back up in what you want to do. I mean, I'm streaming again. I haven't streamed in like a month and a half, 2 months almost, and I'm streaming again. Granted, it was Hearthstone. It wasn't really StarCraft, and I'm spending more time talking and looking away from the camera because things are distracting me, but it will reinvigorate you. And that is my biggest takeaway, is that especially if you're in the United States, esports is one of those things that, yes, Dota 2 managed to get on ESPN. I have opinions on that. I'm not going to go into it. But esports needs to grow. We need more people to get involved. We need the publicity to be there, even if it's 7 people here, 5 people there, 7 other people there. We need all that information in there. So go to events, even if it's local events, local lands and stuff. Get it out there and just have fun. I mean, I finally relaxed. I didn't worry about anything, and I had the best time of my life. So that was my adventure to Red Bull BattleGrounds Atlanta. I hope to have another epic story to tell you at the end of September when I get back from Red Bull BattleGrounds Grand Finals in Washington, D.C., if I can manage to pull off the magic that I have to do in order to go to that. So everyone have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Go check out Omega's stream, Omega 068. He's going to do what I just did and play through the new Naxxramas patch in Hearthstone. So definitely go check that out. That is where I'm going to be going as soon as I shut down everything. Have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you guys on the ladder.